Let's compare the Xbox Ally X against Lenovo's Legion Go 2. A lot of you have been asking me, Andy, I'm really tempted by the Legion Go 2. Can you do like a rundown against the Xbox Ally X? And yes, let's go through each spec right now and see what's better for you. So let's start it off. The Xbox Ally X will have the AMD Z2 Extreme AI, which has an NPU with 50 TOPS. Whereas the Lenovo Legion Go 2 just has the AMD Z2 Extreme. So they're very, very similar, but the Xbox Ally X has that NPU with 50 TOPS, so it does actually have an AI sort of chip, essentially, right? And what's promised to come is ASR, Automatic Super Resolution, and highlight reels. That's it currently. Now, Automatic Super Resolution could potentially be incredible because this is like an operating system level upscaler. It does not require being implemented by developers. It's actually done on the system, on that AI chip, on the NPU by itself. However, this is already out for Snapdragon APUs from like a year ago or so. And on that, there was a lot of latency. So this might be more beneficial for upscaling to higher resolutions when docked, as opposed to actually playing handheld. But this is speculation. We don't know. And the Xbox Ally X doesn't even get this until sometime next year. So it doesn't even ship with this. Highlight reels is just basically it's going to record in the background and then like compile stuff of your gameplay. I'd probably turn that off anyway, but there are supposedly more features coming in the future for the AI side of it. But for right now, we can kind of disregard it for immediate because nothing will use it when it's launched. Whereas on the Legion Go 2, we just get the straight up Z2 Extreme. So same chip, just without the NPU. And it's still going to be great. We're seeing 15 to 30% improvements over the Z1 Extreme. So this is already going to be much better in terms of efficiency and performance versus the Z1 Extreme. So the previous Legion Go, the previous Ally X, all the other Z1 Extreme handhelds, we're looking at more performance at 17 watts, up to 30%. So you're going to get way better battery life on that. But really, if we disregard the AI chip part of the Xbox Ally X, then they're the same. But we do need to note that, you know, the Legion Go 2 will never get these features. We'll never get ASR or highlight reels or anything else they implement in the future because it just simply has no NPU. So let's give that win to the Xbox Ally X just because its potential could be better. Now let's look at the RAM. So the Xbox Ally X has the same as the ROG Ally X with 24 gigabytes of RAM. However, we've now gone up from 7,500 megatransfers to 8,000 megatransfers. The Legion Go 2, though, just one-ups it by going 32 gigabytes at 8,000 megatransfers. And this is LPDDR5X on both of them, but we're getting a lot more RAM on the Legion Go 2. The way I like to think of it is you really want 16 gigabytes to system, right? So we can ignore 16 gigabytes for both of them. So let's just look at what's left, which is what you want to be giving to the VRAM, right? The GPU side of the APU. So the Xbox Ally X is left with 8 gigabytes if we take away 16. That means you've got an 8 gigabyte VRAM GPU, right? Whereas on the Legion Go 2, if we take away 16 gigabytes, we're still left with 16 gigabytes that we can allocate to VRAM for the GPU. That's more like an NVIDIA 5070 gets. They've still only got 12 gigabytes of VRAM. Now, obviously, this is an APU. It's slightly different, but that's still a big jump. We're getting double the amount of RAM, in my mind, versus the Xbox Ally X, because you've got 8 gigabytes to VRAM versus 16 gigabytes to VRAM. And if you don't know about VRAM, basically that lets you up textures, as well as may even support like ray tracing with the amount of RAM that's there. And it also reduces stuttering, stuff like that, right? So overall better experience. On my actual ROG Ally X, which is just over here, I generally set the VRAM to 10 gigabytes. So I've only actually got 14 gigabytes to system. But I'm going to give the win here to the Legion Go 2 because in my mind, we've got double the VRAM. Now let's look at the storage. So the Xbox Ally X can take a 2280 SSD and comes with a 1 terabyte. That's it, right? Whereas the Legion Go 2, if you pre-order or order via the Legion website, the Lenovo website, you can actually configure a Z2 Extreme variant with a 512 gigabyte drive, a 1 terabyte drive, or a 2 terabyte drive. Obviously, that massively changes the cost. However, there is one thing to note. With the Legion Go 2, it actually ships with a 2242 size SSD, which is what's found in the original Legion Go. However, it can support 2280s. If you buy the 2 terabyte variant of the Legion Go 2, then you get a 2280. So I'm just going to say these are like the same. I suppose you could say the Legion Go 2 wins because there's more variety here. You can actually choose which size you want and save money if you buy the 512 gigabyte. Let's say you've already got a 4 terabyte drive, you could buy the 512 and then upgrade it yourself, or you can just go, you know, balls to the wall and get the 2 terabyte one if you don't want to fiddle around with it. Whereas the Xbox Ally X, it's just 1 terabyte only. You're going to have to crack it open if you want more. Let's look at the I/O. So on the Xbox Ally X, they've kept it exactly the same as the ROG Ally X. And I was a little bit sad about this. I was hoping to see 2 USB 4s, but no, we get the same thing as we got last generation. So we've got one USB-C 3.2 and one USB 4 Gen 1, so 40 gigabits. So if you're looking at using an eGPU or whatever, you're still capped at 40 here, right? Whereas the Legion Go 2 just straight up gets 2 USB 4 Gen 1s, so still 40 gigabits. But one's on the top, one's on the bottom. Kind of annoying. Like, yeah, I personally would prefer both on the top, but there we go. They both have audio jacks as well, I might as well say that. But again, on the Legion Go 2, it's on the bottom, which is kind of weird, especially if you're going to like put it on your desk or like lean it on your lap. You're going to have your 3.5 jack like coming out of the bottom. Kind of frustrating, whereas on the Xbox Ally X, it's on the top. Both of them get Wi-Fi 6E. That's great. Yeah, that's fine by me. I don't mind that. And let's just talk about the weight, because obviously the Legion Go 2 is a lot bigger. We'll get to the screens later, right? But the Xbox Ally X has 715 grams of weight, right? Versus potentially approximately 1,000 grams on the Legion Go 2. I've seen it listed as higher. I've seen some people that have got it hands-on and it's within the 900 mark. So like it really depends, but let's just say 1,000 grams. So it's 300 grams heavier than the Xbox Ally X. And let's just talk about ergonomics here as well. Now, I've obviously been hands-on with the Xbox Ally X. I've been hands-on quite a lot with it, and it feels light because they've chosen the controllers, like the horns, right, on either side, which look a little bit ugly, but in practice, it feels incredible. The ergonomics are the best thing I've felt on any handheld. It feels so good, and it distributes the weight really nicely. They've really thought about where to put the battery in the thing and adjust it so that it just feels great in your hands. Now, I have not got hands-on with the Legion Go 2. It's hard to say because ergonomically, I'm just going to say that the Xbox Ally X wins because it's lighter and it's actually got proper horns. But to give credit where it's due, they have totally revamped the Legion Go 2 and the detachable controllers. So that's another like difference here. The Xbox Ally is just literally a built-in controller. So you could argue that the build quality might be better because it's just one big shell like clamped together. Whereas the Legion Go 2 has detachable Joy-Cons, if you want to call them that, right? And they can remove. So I don't know how stable they're going to be, but that is a perk. You can use FPS mode where you clip a little thing on the bottom of the right Joy-Con, and then you've got mouse mode, you know, which, you know, the original Legion Go had anyway, but this actually looks really cool. But the actual Joy-Cons themselves, they've like redesigned and they're no longer like sharp cornered. They look a lot more ergonomic. And from looking at people that have had hands-on with the Legion Go 2, they're saying it is miles more comfortable than the previous generation. But compared to the Xbox Ally X, I'm still going to say that that wins just because I've had hands-on with that and I know how comfortable that is. But who knows, the Legion Go 2 might be ergonomic, but 1,000 grams, it's going to be a heavy beast. Now, there's still more specs after this, but I wanted to talk about the screens. So the Xbox Ally X, it has a 7-inch, 120 hertz VRR LCD, which has a VRR window of 48 to 120 hertz, but it does have low frame rate compensation, which effectively makes it like 1 to 120 hertz for VRR, right? So it pretty much spans the entire breadth of that refresh rate, which is really, really good. But this is the exact same screen that's found on the original OG Ally, which I've got down here, and the Ally X as well. It's the same screen. They've not changed anything about it. It's still 7-inch, which is quite small, especially if you're getting old like me. But in use, it is a very good screen. Like, it's not a bad quality LCD at all. I just really, really wanted them to put an 8-inch in, and they haven't. The Lenovo have just gone and wiped the floor on all handhelds by doing something ridiculous, and they've made an 8.8-inch, same as the Gen 1 Go, but now it has VRR. The Gen 1 didn't. So we've got VRR, 144 hertz, and it's OLED HDR 1000. Which is ridiculous. Now, supposedly, this has a VRR window of 30 to 144 hertz, but I can't actually find any confirmation of this, like, officially. So I'm not sure if it just has low frame rate compensation and we're going to get the full 1 to 144 hertz as VRR. I don't know. Or if the window just starts from 30 and goes up to 144. Cool. But does it still have LFC? I'm not too sure. Also, the thing is as well, and I bang on about it on this channel with AJ as well, is that OLEDs suffer from VRR gamma flickering. Generally, this is when 1% lows are so low that the adjustment rate, the VRR window has to go from, let's just say a game is running at 100 FPS and the 1% lows are 40, it's got to jump 60 FPS constantly. And that massive jump causes gamma flickering, right? Whereas if you had that same screen and you pumped a really high-end GPU into it, and now the 1% lows are really high so that you've got an average of 100 FPS, but the 1% lows are like 90, let's say, it's not got as much to jump between, and VRR flicker is no longer present. Now, the issue here is these APUs are still pretty weak, right? So the 1% lows are often very low. So I am concerned that we will get OLED VRR flickering with the Legion Go 2, but this is just purely speculation. Supposedly, Lenovo have made a custom OLED screen for this, and they may have fixed that. Maybe it doesn't have VRR flickering anymore, but nobody knows until it's been tested. But I'm hoping for everyone's sake that they have fixed it, but equally it might not be fixed. And the only fix for that is upgrade your graphics card, which you can't do on this because it's an APU. And the only other fix is disable VRR so that you no longer have it, so that you cap a frame rate at a consistent, let's say 60 FPS. Once it's capped, there's no longer a jump between the 1% low and the average. And now you won't get flickering because there's just no variable there, right? So we will have to wait and see to see if this is actually a thing or not. Nobody's talking about it. I've had problems with VRR flickering on OLED screens in the past. This is affected on pretty much every OLED screen as well, other than like some really top-end new like MSI screens and some other ones. But yeah, who knows? We will see. But regardless, even if it doesn't have VRR flickering, 8.8 inches versus 7 inches, that's 2 inches. That's a big lot of screen real estate, right? And going from LCD to OLED HDR 1000, it is going to be like a game changer. My memory going from the Steam Deck, which had the worst LCD screen I've seen in like anything, to the Steam Deck OLED, it felt like a new generation. Even though it pretty much runs exactly the same, it felt so much better. It really, really did. The Steam Deck OLED is beautiful. I love the screen on it. But yeah, going from an LCD to an OLED at 8.8 inches, let's just hope that it's got that 144 hertz VRR there. This is going to be ridiculous in terms of screen. It really, really is. And I think this is the biggest point here, which is going to be the main deciding factor for most people looking at comparing these systems, is 7-inch, the old 7-inch screen from all the Allies. They've all got the same screen. Just feels like a little bit of a letdown. But I do see what they were kind of doing. They want to save some money here and not just put the price like so through the roof to, you know, ostracize people that may be coming from consoles that would see the Xbox name. And if they slapped in like an 8-inch screen or an OLED without VRR, let's say, because ASUS are very aware of OLED VRR flicker, right? Let's just say they went for an OLED 8-inch. That price is still going to jump up a lot, and it would probably price it out of where they want to bracket it. Whereas Lenovo, in my mind, are kind of doing an ROG and just not caring about the price and just going, balls to the wall, putting all the best spec they can in and just not really caring about price and going, there you go. It costs 2 months of your mortgage. Just deal with it, So yeah, it's funny how the roles have kind of flipped in my mind for these two devices. But regardless, this will be people's biggest deciding factor. And this is the thing I get approached about the most is, yeah, but Andy, the Legion Go 2's got an 8.8-inch OLED. And it's like, I know, man, I know. Whereas the Xbox Ally's got the same screen as my ROG Ally X. It's like, oh. Whereas looking at the Legion Go 2, okay, it's got the nice perk of the Z2 Extreme in it, but then we also get an 8.8-inch OLED. Now people are intrigued to upgrade. So we'll just have to wait and see. Oh, and with the screen one, I didn't rate that, but yeah, I'm going to give it to the Legion Go 2. There's more specs though. Let's continue on. So the Xbox Ally X has an 80 watt-hour battery, just like the ROG Ally X, can support 65 watt charging as well. But with a USB 4, my ROG Ally X supports 100 watt charging. They don't specify that on the website for the Xbox Ally X, but I assume that's the case. The Legion Go 2 actually has lower battery, but it's still 50% more than the Gen 1. So it's got a 74 watt hour battery, supports 65 watts, but it's got two USB 4s. So I suppose it should support 100 watt as well, but we'll have to wait and see. But effectively, they're very, very close. The thing we have to sort of think about here is 8.8-inch screen versus 7-inch screen. I suspect the Legion Go 2 is going to use more battery because the screen is just so big, right? So it's already got a smaller battery plus a massive screen. I'm going to give the win to the Xbox Ally X here because, 80 watt hours, that older screen, smaller, it will probably be more power efficient. Right, now is the operating system. So of course, the Xbox Ally X launches with Windows 11 Xbox FSE, or as what we like to call it, Xbox OS, and that's Windows Xbox FSE, whatever they're calling it, full screen experience. So this is a trimmed down custom version of Windows that has been made with the Microsoft team and the Xbox team to make this slimmed down gaming OS designed for handhelds, right? And it will save 2 gig of RAM. So you are effectively getting a little bit more RAM back here for the Xbox Ally X that you can then allocate to your VRAM. So like I said earlier, we're looking at 8 versus 16. Well, you can kind of look at it as 10 versus 16 now if you see the savings because of Xbox full screen experience. Now, this is a custom area that the device boots in to make sure that all these processes are not loading up so that you are saving that RAM. It is very good. Very, very good. It's so easy to use. You've got a dedicated Xbox button now as well. There's an alt tab, a carousel, which just works perfectly. I've had a really good experience testing out the Xbox full screen experience on the Xbox Ally X, and I think it is fantastic. It's exactly what we need on these handhelds. You've got aggregated libraries now, so everything will show in there. This thing is brilliant. It's very, very good. Whereas the Legion Go 2 will be launching just with stock Windows 11 Home, and that's it. However, Lenovo did confirm that Windows Xbox full screen experience will be coming to the Legion Go 2 sometime next year, supposedly spring. So pretty much I'm seeing that the Xbox Ally X is going to get a 6 months exclusivity window with this full screen experience. After that 6 months, Microsoft and Xbox are just going to roll this out to anybody and just let you do it. So then it will then be available for the Lenovo Legion Go 2, which is wicked because you're going to get the same benefits, right? You should still save an extra 2 gig of RAM, so you'll get even more VRAM. You'll get 18 gigabytes of VRAM on the Legion Go 2, which is just absurd. But yeah, you'll free up that VRAM, get that great experience from Windows Xbox full screen experience. I'm really happy to see this coming out for other devices as well. But from the get-go, I'm going to give the win to the Xbox Ally X because it ships with it. We're going to have to wait 6 months or more for the Legion Go 2. There's no date yet. And now, of course, price. This is hard because at the time of filming, there's no price on the Xbox Ally X. There's supposedly a leak that confirms $900. Is that £900 or is that £800 here in the UK? No idea. Nobody knows. But we do know the Legion Go 2 is $1,099 for a 1 terabyte here in the UK. Equally, that's $1,350 in the US. However, you can deconfigure the Legion Go 2 on the Lenovo's website to have a 512 gigabyte card, and that saves you £100. I assume $100 will be the same, so that brings that down to $1,000 on the nose, or it will be $1,250 US, right? That means there's only £100 difference here in the UK if you order it direct from Lenovo. If the Xbox Ally X launches at £900, £100 difference, you're getting basically double the VRAM as what we discussed earlier, right? And an 8.8-inch OLED screen, VRR, HDR 1000, like 144 hertz. £100 is making this very, very close. If it's £800 versus, £1,000, then it's the gap's getting wider. And if we stick to 1 terabyte versus 1 terabyte, let's say the Xbox Ally X launches at £800, and you're looking at 1,100 for the 1 terabyte Legion Go 2. Now there's a £300 gap. That's a big gap. And I think a lot of people won't want to pay that just for double the RAM and also a bigger OLED screen. But equally, I think a lot of people will be choosing that too. So it's a hard place for me to actually elaborate on pricing here because we just don't know yet. ASUS and Microsoft still have not confirmed the Xbox Ally X's price point. And the thing is launching in 1 month. So yeah, I've no idea what's going on there, but you can't even pre-order the thing, whereas you can pre-order the Legion Go 2 in some countries currently. But there we have it. What do you think? What are your thoughts on the Xbox Ally X versus the Lenovo Legion Go 2? Who knows how this is going to go? I've seen a lot of interest in the Legion Go 2. So, people are liking that OLED screen. That's the only thing that I'm thinking is screen, more RAM. People are seeing that as an actual upgrade to the ROG Ally X's, whereas the ROG Ally X to the Xbox Ally X is very, very close. We will have to wait and see. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments whilst you're down there. Like this video, subscribe, become a member, and you can chat to us on our private Discord. And I'll see you in the next one for more handheld gaming stuff. I don't know why I've just added that onto the end of the intro. I've never said that before. Bye.